What is up, fighting game fans? Welcome to EX Saturdays, the show where we talk about the Midwest fighting game community scene and keep you up to date on all the recent fighting game news. I'm NT.
I'm Dynamite.
I'm Ham Jams.
This week we got our LK co-owner, Mr. oscoutz Jax himself.
The boss.
The
Nice to
co-boss.
see you guys.
Other boss. Third boss.
One of many boss men's.
They're one of the OG bosses.
Yo, 3 out of 5 of the bosses
That's
in
true.
the call at the same time.
That's true.
That's true. But
And I'm not one of them.
I get a founder badge.
Damn.
That's kind of neat.
Founders
You got
badge?
badges?
Badges, bro.
Yo,
Damn.
what? Can I get a
don't have
badge?
No badges.
Damn.
Not giving them out.
Well, anywho, so on to the topics of this week. I want to talk about EVO Online and how that is going to come about, because we all know that one's not going to be too good. And on top of that, I want to also describe how running online brackets works, since we've been doing it for 7 weeks now with Low Kick Online. It's been a ride. It's been fun. It's been terrible. It's been all kinds of things. But EVO Online, so as we all know, what was it, May 1st that EVO put out the tweet saying they've officially canceled. That was also partly due to the Mandalay Bay giving out refunds, because they were doing that, like, I want to say a week before EVO even announced anything, so it kind of forced EVO's hand.
It was 2 days. I think that was arranged, to be perfectly honest. I think they knew. And, like, they were already doing the preliminary process of that, because I don't think Mandalay Bay was, like, forcible about that. I think that was actually... I think that was like a joint effort between the two of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I mean,
Like, they wouldn't just be like, "Hey, here, everybody, here's to get your money back. Good luck, Evo. I know you literally cost millions of dollars to run, but."
But it was still the idea that Mandalay Bay was giving refunds before EVO's official announcement, which I thought was a little weird.
It was definitely funny. Like, everybody knew. I think everybody knew that it was like, it was cooked, it was fried. Like, you're not gonna have, what's his face? Oil King. You're not gonna have Oil King fly all the way out from the other side of the world to play against another guy from, like, Germany and a third guy from America at Evo. It's not happening ever. No chance.
Yeah.
Because of, like, international travel definitely not being a thing, and people being actually legitimately concerned about getting sick in the first place. There's no way they would have run that event. Unless they wanted to run a giant local with a whole bunch of empty space.
6 feet apart on every setup. And just like
every setup. So, like,
every setup would have to be head to head. You'd have to have a 6 foot table, head to head setup, and that would be the only way that people could play. And then the TOs would have to be somewhere in, like, that middle area. Be like, all right, you got to walk that way. All right, you got to walk that way. And
I think it was pretty obvious.
In New York with the 6 feet apart lines, waiting for groceries. That's what it's gonna be like.
It was pretty obvious, I think, once Combo Breaker announced their cancellation, that EVO would be bodied, because it is not very far after. I mean, yeah, it's around a month and a half after, but it's still pretty obvious that if Combo Breaker's done, there's no way EVO's continuing on.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, look, you kind of expect it at this point. The whole year feels like it's bodied, but it still stings to see. Like, it's a reminder, right, that we're actually just going to be locked into this for a hot minute, and hopefully we figure out ways to improve the scenario that we're in until next year. But I really feel like we're just, until next year, we're just not going to have events. Like, if you think about it, the way that everything's worked out, Combo Breaker 2021 might be the first major of next year, based on, like, vaccine timings and things like that. So
yeah, a lot of doctors are saying that we'll be, or doctors and scientists, I should say, that we're going to be bodied until next year for sure. Like, in fall, we'll still be dealing with COVID, and it might not be till second quarter of next year that we even see a vaccine. So it's a long ways away.
I'm gonna need you guys to calm down. I can't handle playing Soul Calibur 6 online one more time.
This is reality of it, though.
How do you think I feel? Like, Harumu comes out, and then it's like, well,
I want a legitimate question here. Why do you think Soul Calibur 6 hasn't been run online for LKO?
Because
there's actually 2 reasons for that.
Because that netcode's whack.
The netcode's whack, and no one wants to play. So
I've played with you in person, where we've had literally 3 to 4 bars, and still that shit drops.
See, like, I'm looking at it from this perspective. Like, I think the Soul Calibur community, like, they themselves, myself included, were like, this is actually so bad that we refuse. Like, we cannot do it. And although
Yeah.
I played in some online tournaments for Soul Calibur 6, it's a it's not a pleasant experience. It like and the thing is, like, I'm invested. Like, I love Soul Calibur. So seeing it in that state, it's like
It's
seeing
rough.
somebody in like in their
Yeah.
deathbed, and you're just like, I don't want to see it like this.
But this definitely sucks.
The worst part is that, as we have just mentioned, there's not going to be a time to play Soul Calibur in tournament for about another year.
But you can play in the Bud Light League, PC only, $15,000 prize tournament. Sign up now, Smash GG. Actually, you can't sign up
Dude.
now, but I mean, people are having stuff about that. I think they're gonna open up the qualifiers a little bit later, but regardless, it is going on. So if you guys are interested in playing PC online Soul Calibur, the only way to play that game at this point, that would be the way to do it. It'll be fun. I'm gonna try and see if I can do some commentary for it.
That would be sick,
Commentary,
dude.
yeah, commentary would be good, but playing in it, I'm not feeling that one there,
Yo.
champ.
Man, I like you can feel the anger. Like even yesterday, we were out, I was running Street Fighter 5 for LKO, and underscore just kept lagging. Like it was definitely him. There was no question. Sorry to expose you, amigo. It was you. It wasn't them. It was you. It was you.
Damn.
Just
One more
to
time.
Damn.
Really gotta
Jeez.
nail that in because it was. And like he's like jumping like half screen, just doing jab. Like I don't know if you guys know this. I know Steph does. If the connection is hitching in Street Fighter 5, the general policy between players is that you'll go across the screen and you'll mass jab so that they understand, hey, let it level out a little bit so we can actually play each other the right way. But like he was like jumping back half screen, just and I'm like, oh, it's you. Ooh, it's you. And he got third. He got third. People played through it because understand that if you choose to play against somebody with a bad connection at any time and they continue through, that's just how it is. Like you allow this to happen because if you stop and you don't play, then it's like, well, then we can discuss it, right? But if you don't, underscore got third. Same.
He's got to hold that.
We actually ran into issues with the Killer Instinct bracket a little bit. I was the one TOing it. It was only one match that had consistent issues, but it was I believe Trevor and Ericus, if I'm pronouncing that name right. They were disconnecting in matches. They were actually able to finish out 3 games, finish out their set, but the first game they were just disconnecting every single time, and they asked me, "Hey, what do we do? How do we proceed with this?" And the best answer that as an online TO I can give is keep trying, and if it persists, then we'll have to run into testing online connections and giving me wired verification. And that was actually Jax's call. So
Yeah. So it's like you have to basically, in that moment, since online and offline differentiate themselves, is we just have to take what your connection is, and the stronger of the two has to be picked. And it's not even like a bias. It's just a matter of like, this is the only option that we have to discern a choice on how to go forward with handling online tournaments. If you're out here playing on Wi-Fi with like 100 and something ping and you're down under 5, then I'm probably not going to pick you to be the winner because you're probably the one lagging. I'm probably going to pick the guy or person who has 100 down, 10 ms ping, and never gets to complain about their connection. I'm going to pick that person 10 out of 10 times.
I think consistency is also something that you have to consider. If you get, like, for example, I saw Coach Steve tweet, what was it, last week? And he was saying, like, he refuses to play against double L bracket at all. And he ended up forfeiting grand finals of House of Chaos Online because of that, because double L's connection was suspect and has been in the past. Interestingly enough, double L definitely snuck his way into our bracket, played from New York to Chicago, and still was doing pretty decent in DBFC.
Yeah.
Surprising to me. But I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, which is that's Evo Japan. I mean, that's Evo Online. That's what they're going to be dealing with.
So here's the question that I want to pose to everyone here. because we know fighting games are suspect, they announced their lineup. Are they going to continue with that lineup, knowing that the games they picked, some of them have trash netcode?
No chance.
Because if you guys don't remember, the lineup was Under Night, Uniclear, so Smash Ultimate, which, as we all know, is super suspect, DBFZ, which is hella suspect, Tekken 7, which is even more suspect, Street Fighter 5, which is probably the most suspect, Soul Calibur 6, we all know is trash, Grand Blue, I think, has been okay, and then Sam Show, we're not even going to talk about that one.
Yeah, that's a whole just bunch
That's
of spaghetti.
like a list of games. I remember John Nitty tweeted this
Man.
like right after they announced all of the games in the lineup, and it's like the only game that has good netcode that's current isn't in the lineup for Evo. And I was like,
Yeah, that's rough, man.
and I was like, who gives a shit? Like, it's not like it's gonna make a deal. It's an offline turn. Oh,
And there it is.
So
And there it goes.
the big question that I'm trying to get at is they have said that they're pushing to an online Evo this summer. What the hell does that mean?
that
Ooh.
they were very vague, and they said it's like more details to come. It's like, who are you talking to? Like, who are you gonna talk to about this? Who like you're like you hit up Shinobi in the middle of the night, and you're like, yo, Shinobi, what's good? And he's just like, we run a Melty, and he's like, no. He's like, all right, we're gonna be running Under Night. He's like, I don't know about that. Have you ever fought against a 5-frame Gordeau? Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. It's gonna happen in multiple occasions. And it's like that is an international tournament. And you'd have to do everything region based. And you can't even do anything like, say, you region based, okay, the top X amount, let's say the top 2 people of each region make it out. And there's hypothetically 8 regions. And you have the top 16 players face each other throughout the world. How are you connecting those people? How are you going to do it? It's not going to happen.
I think realistically, what they'll do is going to be an interesting thing. Like, tinfoil hat, brace for impact here. They'll have regionally based tournaments, and the winners of those tournaments will end up being the top 8. And they'll divide that by per region. So they're going to have to get a network of TOs. That's going to be a lot of work, but it's doable. And then they'll, maybe they'll have those people fly out to some remote location after 2 weeks of them winning, separating them from everyone, making sure that they haven't been around anything. And then they just kind of do that. But it would cost an astronomical amount of money, especially if you go, we're going to have the finals in Vegas anyway. You're going to be playing a lot of Japanese plane tickets, amigo.
That could be possible, actually, because that's what NRS did with what was that Mortal Kombat tournament back?
Final Combat. I was
yeah.
just gonna say that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan. Since you had the
no, go ahead. I'm just backing you up. It was Final Combat.
Yeah. So NRS, back when COVID really started striking the US, Final Combat was going down. We had the LCQ at Ignite. Was that right?
Yeah.
So we had the LCQ at Ignite.
Well, no, we were going to have the LCQ at Ignite.
Correct.
That's right. That's what it was. So yeah, we were going to have the LCQ at Ignite, and then that got canceled due to COVID. So NRS said, "Hey, everyone at the LCQ, we're not holding a tournament anymore. The people who have made it are going to be in a private stage, I guess is the best way to say it, and all the people who were going to be viewers are not allowed to come through anymore."
And then when you watched Final Combat, I noticed there was some people that were not Mortal Kombat players in that crowd at all. I'm still salty about this.
Please, Ham.
I'm not going to say any names. I'm not trying to cause any problems, but there were definitely some
We're going to get canceled.
We're not getting canceled. That was some real stuff. Okay, when I looked at that picture and saw them people there, I'm like, you're not an NRS player. You don't even care about Mortal Kombat. You don't have anybody here. You cheated. I was upset because it just basically became a private watch party, which I thought was unacceptable at the time. And I still hold those sentiments. That's me personally. This is not Low Kick Esports saying that. This is me, Dominic Andres Brown, accent mark over the second I, accent mark over the second E, over the other E. That's
So
just how I feel.
let me put Jax in the hot seat now. Jax, I know you really like the business side of things, so I think you are going to have the most interesting take on EVO Online. What do you think they're going to do? How do you think they can set it up?
I mean, from the business side of things, acquiring sales and sponsorships and the same like acquisition means from like a procedural side is like it's not impossible, but it's not the same. You have to completely change the game and alter the directive that you're going to take, as opposed to having all these different suppliers that endorse, give things, has set up booths, etc., etc. You can't do that. You have to sell online space to a different type of clientele. And Evo's always been mass marketed towards the general populace and not just the niche side of things. So there is still room to make up for a lot, but having that same on-site, in-person, like advertising, free stuff, lanyards, tags, bags, you name it, that's not going to be the same. It's going to be completely different. It has to be a complete alteration of how things are gone. And from the operation standpoint of things, man, dude, this is...
I don't want to get into operations yet. We can get into operations later.
Yeah, from sales, though, like it's just a completely new ballgame. You got to like pick advertisers like Blue Apron, which is sponsoring the podcast. No, I was kidding.
I have a question. Okay, I have a question. Do they charge for EVO Online?
Oh. I think they will. That was going to be my next question.
Do you think they're ballsy?
Yeah, I really do. I think I brought this up in the past on this podcast, and that back in like 2011 or 2012, they tried to charge for quality options on Twitch. You were forced to watch it, I think, at 360p or 480p the entire time unless you subscribed for $12.99 or some ridiculous price. That was the only way you were watching in 720p or any like desirable quality.
$8.95? No, wait, that was something different.
No, that was back in, I swear, like 2011, 2012, some time from there. The question that I had is, how much do they charge for the door? Because I know that's insane. Like, just to get into EVO for the weekend, how much are they charging?
I'm not sure. I heard it was mostly the hotels though that gets you kind of bodied at EVO.
I mean, really everything. Like, I don't wanna, go on a rant off of somebody else's stuff, but like, I remember interesting perspective that we have. Myself, Dan, NT. I don't know how Jackson feels about playing it, but Seth, we all played League of Legends at one point. You remember Dyrus? First off, do you remember Dyrus getting completely dunked at top? That was ridiculous.
I do.
On top of him. And then he retired. But anyway, So Dyrus became a Tekken player for a while, and then he transitioned to Unist. And during that time, he was like, well, I want to compete at EVO because why not go to the apex of events for fighting game tournaments? And he came out with like a video that was roughly about, I think it was like about 30 minutes. And he said that EVO was a terrible event when it comes to running it because everything costs way too much money and nothing is accessible. And that I was like, I take that a lot to heart because as you know, as a fighting game fan, it's like I'm here and it's great, but it's like, where am I playing casuals? Am I going to be able to play casuals? Better question. How much is food? Am I about to pay $15 for a piece of pizza? Probably. Man. And I was like, okay, well, that's just how it is. So there's a lot of things that will cost you an arm and a leg out in EVO.
And it's really funny hearing that because ever since I joined the FGC back in 2009, all I've ever heard is the FGC is what? It's poverty. FGC is poverty. That's all I've ever been told for the past 11, 12 years is that FGC is poverty. Yet you have EVO where you're dropping easily $2,000 over a weekend if you're doing it right, so to say. Who's dropping $2,000? Who's got $2,000 to drop? I mean, I do, but that's a huge setback for me.
It is, but you also got to understand that some people do save up specifically for EVO, right? Like that's what they go to. That's their their thing for the year. So
It's their vacation.
Because you gotta factor in, you have the flight, the hotel, the entry, the game fees, the food, the whatever you want to do with your friends, the flight back. Like that's a lot of money.
Gambling. Okay.
Well, it's not necessary. First of all, that's not necessary. Second of all,
Necessities only.
people do split the costs of a hotel room and things like that. Like it can work. When I don't want to make it seem like Evo is like $1 million to go to. Yes, it can be a lot because it's in Vegas, but it can work, right? Like I don't think it's like, well, it can't work because Combo Breaker is also an expensive venue if you don't like to adventure if you don't live here. To be fair, like
It's true.
it's not cheap to stay out at Combo Breaker, but either way, I don't think that they're going to charge for Evo Online viewership. Like that to me would be
obviously they're
like,
they're not gonna do that. I mean, as it is, you could watch Evo at one point on television. So people are gonna get it regardless. Like people are going to watch that whatever way it takes. I mean, think about like a Discord server. You get one guy that has that screen and now he's sharing it to everybody else. What are they gonna do? Hit him with the NFL?
Can't catch me here. Burner Discord account. See you later.
Burner Discord account. Whatever. I will say, I've seen some conversation regarding it. When I travel, I don't like to travel with 10 people chilling in my room. There's a thing called your own personal space.
I got a limit.
And on top of that, there's also the fact that you might meet someone. I'm not going to get into any further detail.
wow, really?
So let's steer back away from that. But let's talk about our own events.
God.
Do you guys remember ASIN? What we talked about, either last time or the week before?
Absolutely.
So ASIN was like 45, 50 minutes away from my old apartment. And so that means I didn't want to drive back home at 3 a.m. to be back at 8 a.m. So what had to happen? We all crammed into one hotel room. We had like 6, 7 dudes, all tournament organizers in one room. Who took the floor? Like 3 of us. Who took a tiny chair? Ham and I think Clawsome.
Yeah.
Then Mr. Kick, Jax himself, and like one other person got beds because there were only like 2 or 3 beds
Jackson
available.
And Ryan shared a bed, and Pusheen slept in his own bed, despite the fact that he didn't pay for anything.
That's rough.
So I'm not a fan of taking up the floor for the idea of saving maybe like $40 to $50.
Well, I mean, here's the tech, and Ham witnessed this at Smash and Splash. My tech game is off the charts. Bring an air mattress. That tech
that is a good
clean.
tech.
That tech saved me at Smash and Splash because the rest of it was absolute trash factory. So.
Yo, can we dump it on Smash Splash? Let's go.
I mean, it just was. It
was open dunk, man. Like the ball was there, and he's just like, I'm just,
Yo,
I was already up there for something else.
I was talking to people at the tournament like, this thing sucks, doesn't it? And they're like, this is trash. And I'm like, yeah, Smash is whack too. And they're like,
That's rough. What I'm going back to, like, just how Evo Online is going to work from a sponsorship standpoint, you got to assume there's going to be a ton of ads, right? They're going to be playing ads all day long. It's probably going to be, it's going to be unblockable. It's probably going to be laced into the actual feed of the stream. So like you can't ad block it or anything like that. And I'm curious to see how they're going to try to monetize it, because you got to imagine that the spot, like, sure, the hotels and stuff like that may not be charging the group that runs Evo, but the publishers and the other sponsors are going to still expect something, right? So you got to figure out how to please them. Yeah. I wonder how they're going to do that.
So, all right, that makes sense. And that was the thing that I was initially curious about, is how are they going to monetize? Because as we all know, every tournament's been bodied like so much that they might not possibly return. And some already said they aren't returning. So they're going to have to get money somehow. But let's reel back into what games are they going to choose and how are they going to choose it?
They better run
So-
Skullgirls. They
So
better
you
run
saw-
Skullgirls.
Pull up a list.
Hold on. I'm gonna get to that because there's some sweet justice if they pick. There's some bittersweet justice, excuse me, if they pick Skullgirls. But Pat did drop a link in the chat that I actually think that is interesting from Tom Cannon saying that it's not going to be the traditional Evo boxed into an online space, right? So it's definitely possible that they're going to pick some different games that will be highlighted. And so jumping back into Skullgirls, I think that that's almost a no-brainer, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, like you watched the Tuesday show, right, Dan?
yes, I do.
Did you catch Mike Z's discussion about how he implemented even better netcode changes?
I did not, but I have kind of shadow followed the netcode changes for Skullgirls just because I'm
that was
curious
actually
and good
really
netcode.
fascinating. I'm not going to get into like the nitty gritty of it because it's like a lot of programming discussion, and Mike Z talks a lot. But he did. He explained that he has now improved GGPO to the next level, and now they're having, if I'm not mistaken, a Japan versus America full-on Skullgirls online tournament, and they are not concerned about any hitching, any rollback, or anything like
Really?
that. They have gone that hard.
That's bold.
No, it's not bold. It's not bold. He said
I'll wait till I
ran,
see it.
He ran
but
matches, and it was completely fine. Like he was playing
Okay.
against Europe at 2 a.m., Brazil, the other side. Like it should be fine.
If he does pull it off,
That is a feat that no man would have ever expected possible from fighting games. So shout outs to
Yeah.
Mike Z for making it happen with his business partners and all that. So Skullgirls, if they don't run it, I mean, like they got dumped on hard too. The charity auction just not making it. Smash wins and then gets run for 1 billion years. And then after that, you ain't running Smash. You better not run.
Yeah, man,
Smash.
like Ethernet adapters for the Switch, like those are hard to find.
I forgot about that
Those
part.
are really hard to find.
Yeah, you're not even like you're promising that
Switch doesn't have
60%
Yeah.
of your matches
It
will
doesn't
be
come with an
Wi-Fi
Ethernet
matches.
port. You have to get a USB adapter Ethernet port. And
all I can say is
it's
on
Wi-Fi
Twitter,
only, really.
on Reddit, all I see is bitching and moaning and complaining about Smash netcode and laggy matches. And what's even funnier to me is Smash players are bitching about online tactics. I'll get into that one later. I'll get into that one later.
What honestly, okay, real talk, real question here. What do? You're playing an Evo Online. It's now 2 a.m. wherever time you're from. Some dude is playing a grappler. It's a 3-bar connection. What do? Do you go for the traditional state footsies, or do you overhead that man's 5 times when he tries
That's
to
not
win?
what I mean in terms of
he's
Smash.
talking about something else.
Yeah,
but
I'm talking about
we'll
something
get to
completely
it.
different.
The online aspect of Evo Online, so like Skullgirls, I think has to be in there, right? Like at some point you just have to be like, okay, here it is, right? We're gonna do Skullgirls.
Let's make a list of
that's what I'm
all
saying.
the
That's what I'm
games
going through.
that have good netcodes. So we got
MK11.
Yeah,
MK11 has to be there now, right?
MK11. That's gonna be some. Oh, that's gonna
pull
be
up. You just like you got
believe
rollback netcode. You made it. Nice
That's
job.
the bittersweet
Welcome to
justice
Evo.
I think Dan meant.
Yeah, that's
my
the
concern.
well, no, both for Skullgirls and MK11, but like the whole thing with Skullgirls and them saying like, this is it should have been at Evo. Like the whole community's like it should have been at Evo. To have it at Evo Online, I don't even know how the response will be. I guess it will be mixed. I'm not part of the Skullgirls community, so I don't know how it will be. But at some point it's like, yeah, we're in an Evo lineup, but at the same time it's like, so you only bring us in when it's
only
convenient for you.
Only when you need me.
You need my netcode. Imagine.
You don't even like me.
But MK11, another one that I think has to be in there, right? Like if it's not there, then I don't know. That's a big question mark. KI is another option.
Killer Instinct is a good third one, except The problems are apparently in the lobby system. Once you get connected, the connection's really good. But the lobbies, oh man, those are apparently not so good as I learned last night.
Yeah, so Ki is like a you know what really sucks is that like both Ki and Skullgirls are old as hell. They're both old. Like, let's be real.
KI
Like,
was 2013, 7 years old.
2013, it's 7-year-old game. Skullgirls is probably around the same time. These are old games. Like Skullgirls is literally purchasable for like 50 cents most of the
It's
time.
on sale. It's like $2 for second encore.
Yeah, like it's very cheap game. And even Mike Z has said you should try the game. Like he said it on that podcast. Try the game. I don't care if you buy it because at this point I make no money off of it, but try it just to experience it. So even he knows there's no money to be made from that. So
just take it.
So at this
Please.
point, like, it's not really beneficial to him for them to run it. So they're going to have to actually negotiate. Maybe he'll get a little bit off the top for that. But Skullgirls is old. KI is old. Nobody's even working on KI anymore. And Skullgirls is a
Iron
miracle
Galaxy's
product.
been done with KI since I think 2017.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these games are not active. And the one active game that we have is MK. But MK got bodied, as it has been getting bodied at EVO for years.
Yeah.
Because
I know exactly why.
Well, it's not necessarily the community thing. It's like they really get shit on. Like I remember Ketchup and Mustard were talking about this with Tom Brady, and this was actually earlier this year, which I thought was crazy after that whole he took everybody's money and ran thing. But yeah, they talked to him about it, and he discussed that like Evo has not been kind to Immortal Kombat. They like started the top 8 for MK, or it was either Injustice or MK, and not even all of the top 8 was prepared yet. They just like had a half bracket full. They didn't have enough setups. People were playing on the floor. They didn't get any matches on stream. Like these are the things that they have to deal with. So it's like the question is, does NetherRealm want to deal with Evo at this point?
I mean, there's a really easy
that's a good question.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to because I don't see the benefit out of it for them. But
Skrilla.
I mean, there's that, and then viewership to bring in more people. But long story short, the reason they don't have Medievo is if you look at all the lineups and all the games that are on, and you look at any fighting game that isn't Mortal Kombat, what differentiates from a visual level every other game in Mortal Kombat?
Well, we know that violence is a factor.
It's like,
well, they got friendships now.
Yeah, we got friendships. There's still hope.
Not going to stop those crushing blows and those fatal blows.
Not going to stop a crushing blow. You're not going to stop an X-ray. You're not going to stop.
We're playing MK9. Let's go.
But yeah, you're not going to stop stabbing through the. You know why the marketability for it on the grander scale when you're probably demographic that they're selling to for the general member is like the teenagers to potentially the parents, especially if since they have Smash and stuff like that. Like they're probably looking at like, this might not be the best for us for an outward future type thing, which is fundamentally why I could see them wanting to shit on that game and that like in particular year in and year out because the only one doing something that like intense.
It does kind of raise the question though, like at that point, is it like, are they running a fighting game tournament for profit or are they running a fighting game tournament for people who play fighting games? Because if that's the case, if it's like, it's too violent, it's a fighting game, man. Like Samurai Showdown was at EVO, obviously, but they have like, in Japan, I know they turned off blood effects. Like they did that. But I don't believe that to be entirely true because EVO has run MK in the past and Injustice as a Sunday game.
Well, Injustice is different though.
Yeah, Injustice doesn't have that level of violence.
Yeah.
I think that's part of a factor, different. But I don't think that's entirely why they just dumpster them super hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to speculate to know why.
Yeah, but that's my next best guess for that.
There could be bad blood between Ed Boon and and
Nope.
Mr. Wiz.
Never know.
It's possible as
No,
well.
I don't
Either
got
way,
the-
I
I don't got
mean,
the
if it
key.
doesn't show up, right? If it doesn't show up for Evo Online, it's just going to be like, now you know for sure that there's bad blood because
Yeah, it's
there's
just like,
no reason.
why wouldn't you pick this game over A through F games over
Yeah.
there that don't have a half as good netcode as this one?
So we have 3 games that they could potentially choose. Is there a 4th one that I'm missing that isn't Guilty Gear
Absolutely.
Strive?
Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Yeah.
That's an option. It's got rollback netcode. It
I
works.
do hear it's good online.
I've only heard good things. People really
Yeah.
like that. You got
Hmm.
time.
So you got 4.
So
You got
you got 4.
You got a core 4.
And
You're
then
supposed to have 8 games.
you start to deviate a little bit. Now we're
Yup,
starting to
nah.
get away from the strong net code
Yep.
and into the I guess we can fuck with this net code. Next up in line is Street Fighter V because it has rollback.
What? I mean, it does technically, but it's like a engine with one piston that just kind of doesn't really.
Hey,
Yeah, it doesn't
You know what?
fire all the time.
Yeah.
Like, its net code is like my car. It may not be perfect, but it drives.
Gets me from A to B.
Like, I mean, I
But
don't
here's
have
the
perfect
problem
code.
with Street Fighter. You just said yourself earlier, Ham, that our locals are lagging.
It's true, but it is literally the heart of Evo. You can't have Evo without
That's
Street Fighter.
true.
I am
That is
wearing a
very
review
true.
shirt right now. Look at this man. Have you seen this man?
No, I haven't. Is he in Street Fighter 5?
He unfortunately is not a selectable character in Street Fighter 5. But that there's no way they're not gonna run Street Fighter 5. They would have to be crazy. Here's the I have one. I have it. Tinfoil hat activate. Brace yourself for impacts here. Xbox 360. Street Fighter Third Strike. No, I'm sorry. Xbox. Original Xbox, wasn't it? Original Xbox?
Heart.
Third
Ham?
Strike. Because it had rollback netcode.
Ham?
What are you talking about?
Are you guys unaware of this?
How many people own an
Ham?
original Xbox?
First of all, you played Third Strike Online back in the day.
Are you talking 3SO?
Yep, 360. It was on.
Oh yeah, you said original Xbox, dude. Like what?
I said 360 first. You guys looked at me like I was crazy. But
Because you went to original
Still
Xbox.
crazy.
but
Not
you
that
go.
crazy.
But I mean, like they've run some jazzy circuit stuff on that so far. It's doable, and it could happen. They could do it because it's got working netcode. People like playing Third Strike. Third Strike ran the FGC for like a decade.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
I still
I mean,
feel like
if
you'd
that's
be
the case, what is
limited.
it going to be like? You're going to you're going to throw in some Mark of the Wolves and some
No, I
Last
knew,
Blade
I
as
knew
well?
that name was gonna come up here.
Jackson, I don't like it.
I knew it.
Well, Mark of the Wolves did get rollback netcode, so
Yep,
it is
yeah.
potential.
Oh Jesus.
I mean, if we're bringing up Third Strike, then you can't not bring up Mark of the Wolves if that also has rollback.
Or
That's
Last
now
Blade.
fair game.
Even
There's-
though, I mean, like who?
there's
like,
very
who's
few
been live in
games.
Last Blade?
There's very few games that have functional netcode that would allow you to go cross country, let alone cross seas.
Yeah.
So if
The
we're
game
bringing
that
up
lets you go
3SO,
cross seeds. This cross seeds is it's Skullgirls. That's the one.
That's the-
And then outside of that,
They might actually have Evo Online broken up into regions, though, right?
yeah, and now
like-
that opens it up. Now the question is, how willing are they to deal with Tekken 7's lobby system?
oh,
And
God, don't remind me. Stop. Stop.
You know,
I wanna
Bandai
remember-
Namco's got the money in that one, baby. They run into Bandai Namco games. Dragon Ball Fighters, baby.
Nope.
I'm gonna say it
Nope.
again.
Nope. I watched it today. I watched it today on the Central Illinois stream. Man, dude, that was whack.
Yeah,
There was some matches that were just kind of just nah. I ain't about that. But it might very well be.
even the logistics of running Tekken 7 online, like they're gonna have to do like a Tekken 7 Evo edition where they like release like almost like a dev kit to the specific to production teams where they go, This is a way to make the game run a little bit better, and you can skip people in line for Tekken. And then Soul Calibur, maybe we'll fix the game. Like at all.
If they run regions, I feel like they're gonna have to run the TWT setup where all the players get placed into groups, because I don't think there's gonna be a fair way to make a bracket based on your winners. So like, well, Jax was saying, 2 out. So let's say we get 2 out in Midwest, 2 out West Coast, 2 out East Coast, 2 out Japan, 2 out South Korea, yada, yada, yada. You can't just be like, all right, Midwest goes against Japan.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just meant like they're going to do regions and that's it.
But I don't think you can have finality with that. There's no grand stage finale.
It's either it's like you can't with this event and the structure and how it is on an international level and how we just don't have the capabilities to do that with the current netcode technology that we have in our fighting games nowadays.
In our favorite game.
And within like the core games that come up in an Evo lineup, like. This is the way that it has to be done, because there is no way you can have a legitimate grand final with 15 frames of lag.
Yo, you got
and someone getting slapped. Oh, dude.
Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator.
He's just like, hell yeah, check out this setup.
It's the way on the screen.
Look at how many IKs I got.
Man.
Oh no.
Try and block this 20 frame overhead, 15 frames of delay.
You see Kizzy YRCing at you, he's dashing full screen.
Dude, every Kai player is gonna greed sever any second they get.
Yeah,
dude,
so you're mashing, you're like, oh please. And
19 frame delay greed sever, you're not blocking that.
Stream production's like that.
Greed sever in 5 frame.
Stream production's like that was Kizzy K's 13th IK today. And he's only played like 8 matches. It's crazy.
Dude, imagine trying to dodge Beak Diver on 19 frame delay. It's not happening, dude.
I am legitimately concerned with like if they do. I do want to bring it back to Street Fighter for a second. If they run Street Fighter. Are they going to have contingencies? Because Street Fighter straight up just drops. Like, if you drop from spectator mode in that game, it'll play out. They'll still play it. You just can't watch it. They're going to have like dual streams at the same time and have to simultaneously hop from one to the other so that they can make it so that if a stream drops for one person spectating, one commentator, for example, then the other person, you can just hop over to the other commentator. And then, like, who's going to want to commentate it, Because something that Sajam was saying is like, when he's done online tournaments, the energy is so different.
It is.
Because you don't have like that, the crowd pumping up what you say and like interactions with the players. Like maybe it's like Combo Breaker where you can actually just hear the commentators during the top
that means
8.
Tasty Steve can't say make some noise.
He can say it.
But like you're not going to get the reaction. So I feel like the words don't carry the same power.
No, dude, you have all the Sajam subs in there to spam.
Have it in the chat.
Steve mode, dude.
Actually, yeah. I mean, because
he gets there, he changes it to spam, make some noise. It's like and everyone's just clapping.
I will say that if you subscribe to Tasty Steve and become a taste bud today, you now can get Sajam noise on a different channel. He has the emote as well.
Free
ever. That's sick.
It's
that means I have the emote. Hold on.
And it's literally just his face facing the opposite direction as the.
That's amazing.
It's like, dude, he didn't even do anything.
Yeah, but
there you go. There it is.
I think finding commentators not going to be the hard part. I think that's going to be the easy part. I think doing the operations from the stream side of things, we're just going to do it the same exact way we do it here. Where we set up inside the Discord call. The production is given by the streamer. They cast their screen, and you can see that. But inside the game, the commentators can also be in it.
Before we even get into that, how do you find the streamers for each region? Like, who do you trust to stream?
Right.
Yeah.
Hit up that low kick esports real quick. We got.
I mean, of course, for Midwest, yes. but I don't even know who, because they have what, 6 Evo channels when Evo's actually.
I'll take South too.
I
Yeah,
believe they have
it
like,
is like 6 or 7
and
actually
so-
with the jump off.
who do they actually hire to do those channels? Is it people like Spooky and Alex Valle, or is it in-house Evo?
No way. They would. I mean,
I think 10-0 handles a lot of contact with who they're going to hire as well, right? Like, so
yeah.
Spooky, Valle, 10-0, Jabali, obviously, if you're doing like something slow for, then, you know, like from there, maybe the KIT people for Texas and that, you know, region. I mean, it's doable. The real question to me is, how do you do something like the jump off?
Yo,
Right? Because you like, how do you like? What are they going to just jump from Twitch stream to Twitch stream?
Because what the reason I brought that up is you're gonna have something like 20 to 25 streams for all the regions. That's gonna be a lot of streams. Because you have to.
I think.
Whew, yeah.
Because can Pakistan even stream? Like, legitimate question.
I don't
know.
know. I mean, that's a
idea.
fair question.
I mean, we've seen the tournaments from there. Like,
well,
when
Arslan
they had the
streams
Tekken
on
tournament.
Twitch.
So it's like
Arslan
I've
streams
watched
on
them
Twitch.
there. Yeah, exactly.
But do they have a production team that can stream for Pakistan? Because I don't think you can exclude Pakistan after the recent blow up from Pakistan Tekken players.
Who did the stream when they did that Pakistani tournament where Spaghetti Rip was there commentating and Super Kuma was there, and
I think they pulled the Tekken team, didn't they?
was that just completely this like the Tekken like esports team that did that?
I think that might.
Who does it from Taiwan? Who does it from?
But I mean, so
Japan?
10-0 probably has those connections though, right? Like 10-0 does a lot for Tekken.
I mean, Japan, you got Giuna, so I mean,
Yeah, it's Anime Illuminati free in Japan.
So I mean, he literally has that.
Who's doing South Korea?
I just thought JCR.
There's just a lot.
Like I am.
There's a lot of questions around.
Let's go.
A lot of questions around doing it region wise, and once you choose all those people, like how do you actually communicate to all 20 or whatever streams at the same time? Because South Korea is not going to be running at the same time that California is running.
I don't
They're
think
vastly different times.
It would have to be like an GDQ type of thing, you know, where it's just like Evo's on all day type of thing. If they were doing
all day, every day, this whole week.
That's what I was about to say. Is that it can't be a day? I mean, a couple of days. It can't be.
It won't even be a couple days. It'll be like a week long.
A week.
It would have to honestly, like, if you did like, let's just say hypothetically, we had 8 games, right? We did 8 games, full tournament, each region. That's like 2 weeks.
If that, because
like,
you gotta understand.
If you did each region a separate 2-day like block.
Well, here's the thing. What if they bring in a cap?
If they bring in a cap,
they'd have to, because
that helps production not rack their brain
they
over
would
a
absolutely have to cap it,
2,000.
because we take 3 hours to run, sometimes 4 to 5, depending on the size of the bracket, to run 40-man brackets.
But we stream a lot of matches, though.
Sure, we do.
Yeah,
but think about even organizing round one.
In the past, about like
maybe
stream less matches, you know, and like for me, you know, on average, I have about 12 people for Street Fighter. It takes me 2 hours and like 15 minutes, and I stream the majority of the matches.
But let's take out the stream like element. I have to now tell 100 people to start their matches and report to me. 100 plus people, assuming they cap it at like 164, whatever that high number is. That's a shit show. And then you're going to be running double elimination. You're going to still be talking to those same 164 people all through losers. You're going to be there all day long.
You know, Pat is throwing all that heat in the chat, dude. He said that Smash had some online tournaments with 5,000 plus people. I'm curious as to how they organize that. I'd like to have a conversation with them, and hopefully they'd be willing to share their tech from the other side, because I actually don't know.
Because how many pools would you need to run for 5,000 people?
Let's just say the cap's 5,000. Let's not do 5,000 plus for math-based reasons. You do 5,000, right? And you take that and you do, let's say, 64 pool waves, 5,000 divided by 64. Man, that's like 80 something or 90 something. Let's say you got 90 waves. Or you want to round to 100? Fuck, round to 100. Round to 100 waves. You get 100 waves. That's a week tournament. For one, because a Smash game, a match
Is it 8 minutes, right?
Well, it's an 8-minute, it's 7-minute cap, but I mean, like, if you get washed, it's probably like a 5-minute match. But if it's a good match, dude, that's like 30 minutes, bro. Like, that's like 20, 30. Like, I've seen it happen, like, in non-grand finals based situations. So, like, 100 waves, and you're just going at it for days at a time. You would have to have probably 2 TOs per wave, because that's a lot of people to handle online at one given time. You're not in person. You can't just like direct them. You have to like type, and or in voice comms or in some mannerism direct. You could do an AI based bot maybe, like do some like automation a little bit, and then the TO controls it. But like there's a lot of like logistics that go behind online TOing that we don't have to deal with in an offline manner. And I know it's something that NTU've like brought up, that it's like, dude, this sucks doing online compared to offline. Because
Actually, it was Ham that brought that up. He was the one that originally brought that point to me, and I brought it to you guys because he's right. We run double the staff for online tournaments than we do offline.
yeah, man, you can cut our shit in half with offline, and compared to this, I mean, you need this. It's like, it's not even like, hey, yeah, I could probably get this done. It's just like, I mean, there's some days where it's like I could do like 2 or 3 things, but it's like, it's really like I'm in. I got 3 monitors. I have to have 3 monitors full of everything. 4, because I got a big one up top. And I'm just like,
I still don't want to get into that
constantly-
conversation quite yet. I want to wheel it back, and that you have 5,000 plus people. Like, we've all seen the memes of we're kicking the router, we're winning Evo with our potato setup. How do you actually get to manage that aspect? Because I can imagine that there's going to be a lot of people who sign up and are just going to try and fuck with that tournament in any way that they can.
Yeah, I would think there's going to be a
purpose
bit
of
of
the trolls.
griefing in that as well.
Yeah.
Because that's something you have to consider at every tournament. That happens. No matter what, you're going to have one idiot that just ruins stuff. That's what they're there for. And then they die and no one cares. Those types of people.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they could potentially, like, how you can protect yourself from dealing with a guy like that. Maybe just immediately DQ him. Something that I did see earlier was that in these sizable events, Smash GG running on itself. Have you guys had to use Smash GG for an online tournament, like outside of the way that we do it?
I have not. No, I haven't participated in anything like that.
So the way that
a
it
couple.
works is basically between 2 players, one person will submit how they did, and another person will submit how they did. And if there's a conflict, then it gets resolved that way, like through the TOs and stuff like that. But otherwise, like it'll say like, oh, like I played in Run and Rumble or something like that. I 2-0'd this guy, and then they'll say, oh, I got 2-0'd by this guy. And then if the results sync up, then you're good, and it moves on, and it generates your next match, and you communicate with that person on an individual basis, which eliminates a lot of the legwork, quite a bit of it. But you may potentially run into a lot of people with integrity issues at that point.
Hey, I went 2-0, but I went 2-0.
Or more,
No way, bro.
Not
I went
just
2-0.
integrity issues, but like little small hiccups. For example, like the Soul Calibur ESL tournaments they have. When they did that, I played in that as well, and they were like, okay, well,
I can bring up the biggest issue as of right now, actually. How do you stop people from using burner accounts and entering multiple times?
It's another one. And there's no way to check IPs on Smash GG. You could.
I can't check your tag and see if you're using multiple tags. I can't check your IP. I can't check your console. I can't check anything. I can't verify that you have not entered my tournament multiple times.
And I got 3 or 4 emails to myself just for business related things. So it's like
I have 2 emails, one for business, one for junk.
You sign in, blah, 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 and you just get caught in different waves, and you're just like, sick, I'm playing on it's Monday and Tuesday this week. It's pretty tight. And no one knows.
Yeah, that is something to be concerned about.
The only way you get called out is like, say, if you lost in one, but then you won in the other, and they're just like, wait a minute, that's that guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, actually, interestingly enough, Man, it just keeps coming up because Mike Z and Ultra David and James Chen talked about this week. They said like the only way that you're really going to know about stuff like that is if the person can't play themselves, like they're in the same bracket or something like that, or you're like they're not going to be able to play against themselves, and then they can get eliminated that way. Man, that's gonna be a lot of work.
Yeah, dude, this is just it's
Because
gonna
it's
be
vastly different from
rough.
offline in that if I call, player X and player Y and only player X shows up, player Y doesn't exist, then I know I could just knock out player Y. Whereas in online, player X and player Y, oh, they're the same person. Player X just gets to say, oh, hey, I player Y didn't show up, I get the win.
GG's.
Like,
Or
yeah.
moreover, me and NT live together, right? Doxed. We're roommates. You know what, dude? Looks like Ham just picked up Nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are they gonna know? How are they gonna know that NT did just walk into my room and just start playing for me?
Yo, Ham has had a pocket nightmare this entire time.
Bro,
I'm not in the same room.
sick.
I'm not in the same room. I'm not controlling the stick. He just has a pocket nightmare.
Yeah, and then we end up having to play each other, and my my nightmare's looking suspect. But
all of a sudden, I'm in the same tournament. I pull out Astaroth. Ooh, have I been working on that pocket Astaroth? You don't know.
I mean, that's
pocket
really not
Astaroth.
The combos are super easy, and I'm not going to get it. But these are a lot of the things that I know we're throwing a lot of problems, but these are a lot of things that are potential issues that could come up. And I think inevitably these are things they're going to have contingencies for. And I don't know if they have enough time. They could have been planning this whole time, though. This whole time they could have known they were canceling Evo and then didn't. You know what I'm saying? And then they finally did. But this whole time they were like, okay, how are we going to make this work?
I probably would bet money that they've been planning this since March. Because that's when the first tournament started getting canceled. So they probably knew that this would be an issue.
Do you remember when Mr. Wizard said on Twitter, Evo's not being canceled?
I do, actually, yeah.
You remember that? I think it was then.
It's late March. I think late March, early April. I think it was late March.
It was before that.
But who knows? That could have been just like, hey, there's still hope that COVID goes away. We'll still hold fighting game tournaments. He could have been blowing smoke out of his ass and just trying to say, like, let's hope to God that we don't have to cancel. And was still planning on working on the online aspects without saying anything.
I mean, that would be the smartest thing to do from like a logistics standpoint. Have a contingency in place and already be like prepping the troops. And
so now that we've gotten to this point, let's finally dive into it. How do you run online brackets? How many people does it take? We've already touched on it a little bit, but I didn't want to get to that point because that is a lengthy process, and we could talk about our own aspects through LKO. We use our entire team.
Roughly, yeah. Minus like 3 people.
2 people, 3 or 3 at any given time. And even then, like, looks like Grand Blue's missing a commentator. I guess Dynamite's gonna have to do it. We
gotta fill.
We gotta fill. There's a lot of fill. If you see a streamer streaming a game and they're simultaneously commentating, we're probably just gonna get a commentator.
Because we didn't have com.
So here's the thing with offline, if you guys didn't know. All of us are there at Super Saturdays for the most part. About at any given hour, you can find maybe 5 of us just big chilling because we can. We don't have anything going on at that particular time. 3 hours later, you might see those 5 people doing something, and the other people you saw working are just big chilling because they don't have to do anything.
Smoking, complaining about getting body and bracket, and then an hour later, I'm doing commentary, and then after that, I'm drinking a lot, and then like NT's running Tekken because it's getting late, and Jackson's sitting at the desk because like Lhasa has left or something like that. Like, there's a constant flow. There are shifts to everything.
Yeah.
LKO is not like that.
No, we're always doing something for LKO. All of us are always doing something.
Constant check for data, constant check for a match, constant check for what's on stream. Are the players still reporting? Are the players in the lobby? Are the players even here?
And
Yeah,
there's always constant communication between all of us in some way, shape, or form. For the people who aren't streaming, the rest of us are in a voice chat constantly talking about how the games are running, who's missing, how the streamers are doing, how the stream looks, whatever you can think of. We're probably talking about it.
Yo,
Behind the scenes, of course.
Yo, bro, that down two was sick. No. Watching all of our streams.
We were actually popping off for KI.
Yeah,
that was
KI
pretty
was
sick.
pretty tight. Despite the fact that that's like not my kind of game, I still was really pulling for it to be run this week.
It's cool to watch.
It's just because I don't particularly care for it doesn't mean I don't support them in playing that game. And it turned out that it was really entertaining to watch.
Hell yeah.
I didn't understand anything that was happening, but I heard the dude go ultra combo, and I was like, all right,
that's pretty hype.
I like that. All right, let's move on.
But we, of course, run into issues like, hey, this person hasn't shown up. What is our rule for how long they get? This person's disconnected. What's our rule for disconnections? This person says that. This person says that. That's a conflict of interest. How do we solve that? Because we're not there. We can't watch your match offline.
You can.
And I've also had the problem of people signing up on Smash GG, coming in the Discord and not changing their name. And they say, hey, I've been waiting for my match. And I said, hey, I can't ping you. I didn't know you were here.
Exactly.
And they say, well, I've been waiting here for a half hour. You should fix this. Like, I can't fix anything because I called a name I had no attachment to. It's not like I'm in a big room and I just go, X player, you have a match over here. Like, I can't do that. So you have to be at your computer watching the chat, or at least give me some form of communication that I can ping you. And I had someone get legitimately upset at me. And I get it because you didn't understand how we ran things, but you can't be mad at me because we have set the guidelines. Every other player knew what was going on.
What were the words? Terrible tournament, we'll never enter again.
Yeah, something like that.
That same day in the same chat, it was.
And
MK.
the funny thing was,
and someone's like, "This is the greatest tournament." Thanks, guys. Like an hour later, I'm like, sick.
The funny thing was, after that person realized that we were running from Discord, I pinged them to do their losers match because we still run double elimination. It was only round 1 that they got knocked out. I said, hey, you still have a match. Play this person. They took 30 minutes to reply to anything. And I said, buddy, you got eliminated 20 minutes ago. Your opponent is sitting here talking to me saying this person's not accepting my invite. We can't play it. And he's like, oh, okay, this is the worst tournament ever. Like, okay. What do you want from me? Like, I can't.
First off, that was great. And I want you to know that every person that complains that way, I read all of your messages and I'm laughing at you right now.
And I even tried to keep it as professional as I could and saying, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way. Feel free to ask questions. You're welcome to join next time, but read up on our policies because not every online.
Hold on, wrong point direction. He's the bigger person, okay? NT is the bigger person. Because when I read that, I was dying. I almost roasted the dude right there. I'm like, you're bad.
See, I try to channel my inner Eris when that stuff happens. Be like, all right, this guy's a dumbass, but I mean, hope you're having a good Friday.
Hope you're having a good day.
Exactly.
I channel my inner Eris in the sense that I just laugh at them and move on. Because don't get me wrong, I understand if you have any kind of frustrations with the way that things would be running, we do have a support channel for that. So if you're in our Discord and you see LK support, please put your concerns in there, and we will gladly address them. But if you're complaining for something that's your fault, or is potentially your fault, and you just haven't thought about it that hard, I may or may not post a picture of a guy with a cigarette with his head down like this at you every time.
And like I was getting at, all of us are constantly watching some form of game chat. And that means you can hit up any of us at any point in time. You have now basically 8 people on standby that can answer your question. Whereas offline, you may not know who everyone who's running your tournament is. So if you only know the TO for, let's just say, I'm running Dragon Ball, you only know me as your TO. I mean, I'm the only person you can go to when something goes wrong. Whereas online, you could just go to LK support, as Ham is saying, type any question, and any 7, 8, whoever of us could answer at any point in time.
Even I see those as I'm streaming. Like I saw the guy saying this is the worst tournament ever, and I was streaming Street Fighter 5. So it's the nature of the beast. We're always watching. If you guys need anything, let us know. But not the point. this is what we deal with on a very, very small scale.
And
how
our
much,
entrants are like 60 per week.
yeah, it's
We
like
have 12 people for 60 entrants per week.
across like what 4 games at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that, and that we see that, and maybe we're not doing things the most efficiently because, like for example, R/SFF, I mean SF, they do things. I like the way they do things. It's honor system. They use challenge, and they just go, "Hey, play your matches. You're on losers, okay. All right, keep playing your matches until we tell you to stop." Report your scores, add them to the challenge, sign up to the challenge. It's fine. You can't do that with Evo though.
Nope.
No.
Evo's got
No
money.
way.
Evo's got money. You're playing for stakes.
Because hash Lord 42069 is gonna be like, yeah, I'm in winners finals of Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
I won
I
every match.
totally beat Bonchan. Easy, dude. Free. Daigo, I beat him too.
It was
Come
close.
on.
I'm the
It was
best spot
close.
on earth.
Yeah, he hits him with like it was close though. I mean, like I beat him 2-1. So I mean,
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah, Bonchan just hits him up. Yeah, that guy was pretty nice though.
yeah.
Yeah, Mix.
wow.
But I think that is inevitably going to be somewhat of an issue, but you're gonna have to do it Smash GG, and players are gonna have to report their own scores. Like that's just how it's gonna have to be, and it's gonna have to be like the verification system. That's the most efficient way that you can run it. Street R/SF does a really good job for what they do, but they're not playing for potentially thousands of dollars, in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
So you can't really do that, but you can use Smash GG. It is completely doable. Even ESL uses Smash GG in that way. Apparently, these Smash brackets are running it the same way. It's easy. And another thing, something to consider, if you didn't know, most games, if there's any question, for example, Soul Calibur, you're like, okay, I'm always going to use Soul Calibur because that's my game. Hey, I played against Blue God and I scrubbed him out 3-0 in winter. I mean, on winter side or 2-0. And everybody goes, "You didn't beat Blue God. You play Astaroth. He's probably." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I guess I'm lying." You can go look my name up on PSN and hopefully PC. Please be PC. And you can just look that name up and it'll show my match records. And it'll also, you can watch my replays. You can do the same thing in Street Fighter. So it's
You can
not
do
like,
that in Grand Blue as well.
so it's completely doable. You can verify. There are ways about it. It just takes a long time. And you don't want to have to do that. But if that's the way it's got to be.
If I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
Imagine verifying every single match in your tournament by watching replays.
You wouldn't. You would only verify the.
If there was a concern.
Yeah.
Right, but just imagine if you had to. Like, this is what I mean in that they need hundreds of people.
I'd have to.
to
Yeah,
run
you'd have to outsource to separate individuals.
And
that
now let's
aren't the
bring it back
current
to the
TO.
Let's bring it back to the point. How is Evo going to make money off of this? Because they're going to have to pay those people somehow. And let me tell you guys, we don't get paid for LKO without donations. We're doing this for free. So every one of you who has donated, we thank you greatly because we're donating our time. So Evo's not going to donate their time, though.
No.
They're going to monetize you somehow.
I think that, well, that's the thing, though, because if you remember last year, there was a real big conversation about Evo finally deciding to do right by their staff to an extent. They were like raffling off Sunday tickets and stuff like that. Like, even as an employee, if you were working there, you really weren't getting that much. So I think they might just Hollywood it. They very well could.
I think what's going to happen, in the same vein of how they've transitioned their system over to giving a little bit more, what's going to happen is, hey, so for Evo 2021, you just get to be there. Here is your badges already paid for next year. Thank you for helping us run online. That's a speculation.
I feel
that's
like
the easiest way to dodge paying money up front and thanking people for running probably a super stressful, or what is going to be something that's super stressful event going for this year. That would be like if that's the way they're going to go about it without having money up front from like a big investor or a big sale from advertisement dollars or whatever X value they're getting out of monetization, that's going to be your next best bet if you don't got the, the Skrilla to throw around.
I think this is going to be like one of the beginnings of my favorite types of movies, where in the beginning there's a job, and then they got to get that one guy that knows how to hack into the mainframe just the right way.
The
You got to
Ocean's
get,
movie?
the Ocean's movies. You got to have the guy with the mustache that has a perfect disguise. You're gonna have to pull T.O.'s out of retirement, bro. There's a lot.
I haven't TO'd a bracket in 15 years. Why should I come out of retirement for you?
Yeah, like there's so many people that are like, it's like, I guess they pull up their pants, they get off they've been sleeping on a mattress, practicing electrics for the past 10 years, but not playing in any tournaments, and they're just like, I guess I'll do it, and they pull up their pants, and there's gonna be so many of those. Like you're gonna have to pull from everybody, and the thing is, if you're pulling from everybody, you're gonna have to give them something. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna say this now. I personally will not work for Evo for entry to Evo the following year. Like, hell no.
You know,
Well, here's what I think. I think that this is why I think it's going to be a region-based global effort, because it's just not going to happen with like everybody signed up for Evo, and then like we're going to have Japan versus Brazil. Like it's not going to happen. Like
Japan.
It's just, if you break it up into regions, then at least, yes, you still need a ton of people, but you can organize that, right? Like you can group it together. And you can say, hey, you're a TO, you got a team of people, let's see what's what. So I don't know. It boggles my mind just to try to put it all together. I hope that it goes off well. Man, it's a lot to think about. It is.
So I guess the final question I have for the whole thing is, what are they going to do with the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Invitational from now on? Like, are they going to push that to next year?
Yo, here's what they're going to do. Everybody that's invited has already got a modded Dreamcast. And if they don't, they're just going to send them one. It's going to be tight. Or we're gonna be Dreamcast emulating. That's gonna be sick. Yo, first off,
how would that work though? So like, if you get the modded Dreamcast, can you play it online? No, right?
They actually cannot. They can't do any of that because like licensing, that's like super illegal.
Yeah.
All of that, you can't do it. You can't use people's intellectual properties in that way because that's not what they were for. So it's dead. It's MVC2. Try again at your 21st anniversary. Because
that makes me really sad. That makes me think of the guys after you see meetups sat in the room and only played MVC2.
Storm sad.
Yeah, and as it stands right now, Capcom's definitely not going to be porting that game. Zero chance. Like, think about what happened with MVCI, and then let's talk about MVC2 and their chances of getting all those characters and all that stuff. Like, dude, think about like how hard it was to get Necrid and Spawn back into. Necrid is a Soul Calibur 2 only character made by one guy, and he's still not in those games. In the remaster of it. So like there's no way. It's dead. The dream is dead. I don't think it's worth discussing at this point because we know they can't do it.
Yeah.
What are they gonna have? Yipes, Justin Wong, who just had a kid, very recently. Definitely doesn't want to get the baby sick.
No.
He's gonna have Yipes, Justin Wong, Duck, who else? Stanford, of course.
Yeah.
And like whoever else was invited, you're gonna have all those people come out there to like one venue and then just run it on offline. I mean, I think that's the way they'd prefer it.
Yeah, but that's too risky. I mean, it's some people might just outright be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna show up."
Justin Wong would 100% say, "I'm not gonna show up." He did that for the MVC3 tournament, if you remember.
Yeah,
Remember, it was
yeah.
right at the peak of coronavirus, and like Pat said on Twitter, this is the last chance. I'm really sad that it was really cool that we capped off the year with Marvel, the best tournament of the year being a Marvel 3 tournament. It's true. That was the last one, and Justin Wong didn't go because virus.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. Well, whatever they do, I think that it's going to be, I do think it's going to be supported. I hope that it's structured well enough that people feel like, well, it wasn't the best, but I'm glad that we did something in the name of Evo, right? So,
Yeah.
At the very least, they are
You have to
trying
run the
something.
event to keep it in people's head that it exists. You have
And
to.
who knows? Maybe next year they'll try and keep whatever they do this year like alive and have a second rendition of it to try and fine tune it, as well as having offline Evo. Maybe they just make a whole new brand out of it.
Maybe. That's
possibly,
that's like the best case scenario. You spawn something that was also like positive out of this, but I feel like it's a long road ahead for what's to come with Evo Online, and I really hope it does become successful because I mean, like, as much as people want to give Evo shit, it's still an important part, and it's a scenic event for our community for us to get exposure. So I mean, as big as like you want to say like, oh, it's run like shit, or it's like it's for an ad, I'm like, it is an ad, because even though it's a shit on the inside potentially, or is whatever you've experienced, that person on the outside viewing that's like, yo, I want to play Street Fighter, or I want to play Tekken now. That's sick. And then you have planted the seeds of future generations for the community to continue to grow.
Well, for sure. And I mean, like, look, no tournament is run perfectly, right? Like, of course, there are going to be criticisms about Evo, but one of the things that I did like that, and I think Rick brought this up, is that the different huge tournaments that we have in the FGC have different goals, right? Like, Combo Breaker isn't trying to be Evo, and Evo isn't trying to be Combo Breaker. So, like, we need, and CEO is trying to be CEO. It's not trying to be the other ones, and we
I don't
need
think
those.
anything could ever be CEO. CEO is so unique.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but we need all of those. Just like Frosty isn't trying to be Combo Breaker, right?
Yeah.
Like Frosty is its own thing. It's for anime. It's for gear. Like
they have their identities.
Exactly, and we need them to be how they are. So, like, yes, having something for Evo, I think, is the best thing that can happen. Instead of just saying, "Oh, no Evo anything." Like, if they can manage it, then they should try it. Like, I feel like Combo Breaker wasn't able to do it because they had to cancel so quickly. Like, no one was expecting this to happen, right? But Evo has a little bit more time, so. I think that something should happen. It's not going to be the best, but hey, we having something for Evo is better than having nothing. I feel like, personally.
I also want to give a honorable mention and a big F in chat for people like artists and vendors who go to places like Evo and majors, because they now have no avenue to really sell other things, because I don't know how many of them have an online store page like an Etsy or anything. So they have all lost a big portion of their own exposure.
Yeah.
Their own income, their exposure, their livelihood. It's like they have to convert everything into an online space. I feel for that right now. Like, it's not easy for anyone, and it's definitely not easy for people who attend conventions and Evo of the like. You're missing you're missing a big part of your life right there.
We definitely like, don't get me wrong, I'm busting my ass during ASEN, but when it's over, like, I think we get to walk around for about 6 hours, and like
man.
it's like, and it's great. I'm like, man, I
Just
like
say.
being at ASEN for a little bit, because I've been here for 2.5 days and I haven't been able to do anything, and then I buy all the REM figures and then I leave.
I get to be a degenerate for about 3 hours, and that's
all
a
right.
client.
Well, anyhow,
At least we're down.
Thanks for tuning in. I think I'm gonna call it. Well, it's just ended,
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, it's a big part, the cultural aspect and everything surrounding that isn't just the meat of the event, especially for our stuff like the fighting games, is the focal point. But there is a larger aspect to every community, and losing these events loses some of the lifeblood that we had.
Yeah,
And that's
for sure.
why we're trying our absolute hardest to keep LKO alive. That's why we're constantly trying to add in new games to bring in new communities. So let's cap off today's episode with our recap of LKO, which I'm going to let Jax handle since that's the man that always handles the weekly recap.
would
So
you
give it to
look
us,
at
Jax.
that, man. That's a segue. Call him
Alright.
That's what we
Sick.
had you on for.
All right, this is you just basically used me for advertisement.
So to give you guys
me and Seth will make the official post, but for now, if you are
The
here,
lore,
you
you
get the rundown on the script on how everything went down yesterday for Street Fighter V. Coming in third place, we had underscore playing Cammy as per usual. EXU getting all over the place with a minus 10 frames lag. So, I mean, no disrespect to underscore, he has one before, but you know you're on watch now. You're on a list. Coming in 2 was the Geef Cold Pipe, going against the Booker, Ibuki Banana Gin. Coming in, he Banana Gin reset bracket 3-2 to come in and take it 3-2 exactly in the reset grand finals, grand final 2. Next up, we had MK11 coming in third was TiVo, the Johnny. Throwing in fireball, shadow kicking all over the place. But he's pretty good. I like him. He's pretty clean. It's a newer dude I've seen the last couple of weeks. I really like the way he plays. Online Johnny is Johnny, always aggressive, hitting buttons. But Bacon Lord coming in 2, Cetron, Jackie Briggs, the dynamic duo that he usually does. And then LK Shady coming in 1 for another week after he reset grand finals, then took it in grand finals 2, 3-1. I know he wants me to say that he played Joker, Scorpion, and Spawn, so I will say that he played Joker, Scorpion, and Spawn.
I just want to take a moment. Hold on. We do this all the time. We say LK Shady. There's a constant reminder that that's Low Kick Shady. So I'm popping off. Fuck everybody else. Low Kick Shady. Let's go.
Damn. I love all the other MK players, but
I also
that's
love
my favorite.
All of you guys too, but that's our dude.
Don't play me. That one's my favorite.
You gotta win every single time.
And then coming in with Grand Blue Fantasy versus Seth Series, showing that La Diva is alive and doing well. Seth Series has been constantly grinding.
Wait, who's saying Ladiva isn't doing well?
I mean,
who?
Not in our brackets.
Dan,
talk to him.
I haven't seen a La Diva living in our LKO brackets any week.
Oh, okay, because in Roman,
I was gonna say, talk to him for me.
In this region. In this region.
All right.
But Seth Series has been, stepping up his game and been really grinding it out. I know Chris always tells me about the updates of him. And then another player, HB, coming in with Fairy, taking second, almost taking over Macho. But, I mean, not almost, but it was 3-0 in grand finals with Macho using Lancelot. But I think overall it's been a lot better, well-rounded the past so many weeks. I mean, Macho is still doing really good with Lancelot. But he did play Matera and Zoe as well. Zoe, not so much, but he pulled out a Matera during the La Diva match with Seth Series.
That's messed up.
Yeah, right. And then we swoop down to the rotation game for the week, Killer Instinct. Now, this was cool. This was a new experience for all of us, especially me. We'd never run a KI tournament before. I've always watched them, but mostly at the larger majors. So this was pretty cool.
I've never watched a grand finals of KI in my life.
Really?
KI is tight.
It is pretty tight. I did really like it. On third place was Base, playing as a lot of the cast, but the ones I had written down were Cinder, Spinal, and Conra. And did he play
Kilgore.
anyone else? Kilgore.
And Rash, right?
No.
I don't think Base played Rash.
Base did not play Rash at all, but he did pocket Sam with Counter early on. Segued into the Spinal. I think sprinkled in some Kilgore and Cinder, and that's where they would find themselves.
Yeah, Base plays a very large roster.
Trevward played predominantly Cinder. I think I might have seen one switch early on, but that was about it. But Cinder was the main pick of the night. And
also shout outs to Trev Ward for really pushing the tournament too. He did a lot to spread the word about it.
I do want to take it aside personally, since I was the TO of KI. Trev Ward, if you're listening, I really appreciate your transparency and your communication with all the players. That was such a help as a tournament organizer. Like, I can't explain enough how helpful you were last night, and I hope we can continue to have this kind of communication with the Killer Instinct community, because man, it was amazing having everyone just be on top of the game, already knowing what to do as soon as we got the bracket started. It was a nice change of pace for me.
And to go back into the grand final set, Trevor could have used a little bit more help, as he really almost came back. He just needed a little bit more of a push, because he did reset 3-0 against UYU's.
No, that Aphex reset against Trevor.
Oh, you're right. I did write that down. That's an A.
UYU.
UYU. He is a content creator for UYU. God, man, that's a mouthful sometimes. But Aphex playing Rash pretty much all the bracket, if not all.
Yep, it was.
If I'm gonna miss an offline match,
Inhibit the ribbit.
But 3-0 reset from Aphex into the 3-2, taking it down literally to the wire. And taking it over Trevor. He was so close. But yeah,
and actually, I have to give the update because Trevor just said it. Ran into Aphex again in a KI tournament today, knocked him out the run back.
Yo, let's go!
Let's go, Trevor.
Feels good. Feels good, man. But that was your LKO recap for the week. You will see the post on Twitter from my account go up sometime around Monday or Tuesday. And that will segue us back into the next week of LKO matches. I have been LKO Scouts, or Jackson, as most people call me, because I don't usually go by my tag. And I enjoyed being here today to give you a little bit of insight on how it is to run a tournament from an online standpoint and all the spaghetti that happens with it. I mean, going forward.
It's a lot of learning if you guys were not aware. But as Jax was just saying, we do have Low Kick Online Week 8. It is up and ready to go. What is our game this week? I actually didn't pay attention to that.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Heading back to the Speedy Boy dash of lag.
Yeah, so we're back with Dragon Ball. KI will return in 4 weeks.
Feels bad.
Sorry, we're seeing something completely different from what you guys are seeing. Seth is in the background setting everything up, trying to pull up LKO Week 8, and he's just typed in smash GG.
No, you can do it. I didn't.
No, I didn't.
All right, so yeah, we do have LKO Week 8. It is live, ready to go. You guys, of course, have the same time frame until next Friday. Was it 5 o'clock is our cutoff? Is that right?
Yep. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock
gives me time to do seating, so prep for bracket matches and any other errors that people come through with. Oh, hey, I had a registration error. Yada yada yada.
Please
sign up. Please sign up before Friday.
Please
That'd be
sign
sick.
up before. You have no idea how mad it makes me when I go to bed the night before LKO and I'm like, man, I guess Street Fighter's not going to have any players. I'm not streaming tonight. That's a shame. And then I get home from work after not checking the Smash GG, and it's a 14-person bracket. I'm like, come on, bro. Stop doing that to me.
Yeah, it's just every week. And I personally don't like it either, because it makes me excited earlier in the week. If I see like we get 10 people, 12 people for whatever bracket, like, yo, these guys are popping off early in the week. Let's go.
But then they don't.
They don't. But anyway, that's going to be it for us this week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If any of our viewers have questions or topics they'd like to hear us discuss, you can hit us up on Twitter at EXSaturdays or through our email, exsaturdays@gmail. If you want to hit me up personally, you can find me on Twitter, NC1Evolution, and Twitch. Same thing, but with an underscore. Throw that in chat for you guys.
And you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/SuperDynamiteD. And once I put together this new computer, twitch.tv/SuperDynamiteD as well. I'm coming at you with some, I think I'm going to run some like Legends of Runeterra or something. I think it's going to be, something a little offsuit. So check me out. I'm going to, also, I promised him I'd run Warzone, so I'll probably stream that as well.
He's going to play Valorant.
You don't know me.
Yo, see me in the gulag, baby.
Dan is gonna Hollywood me in Valorant.
Wow! You wanna do it on stream? Let's go!
This man's out here playing Valorant without me, commentating Valorant
cold-hearted.
without me.
Commentating Valorant.
Hey, I didn't have anything to do with the commentating thing. I got asked.
I'm disappointed.
Wow.
Wow.
I just kicked my desk. Okay. Hold on. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna say my piece. Although you just put in Jackson's.
Oh, yeah, I shell man.
Okay. Cool. You can find me at twitch.tv/LKHamJams. I started a new job.
So I ain't streaming as much.
It's been very difficult to stream. Every day I get home after working 10 hours and I pass out. I'm off 1 day a week. So I'll probably be streaming the end of Final Fantasy X tomorrow, if I'm not sleeping for the whole day. It's going to be a longer stream if I do that because I have to do a few things. But join me for the conclusion of that game. And you can find me at twitter.com/@hamharder, where I quite literally only retweet things, and sometimes it's titties.
Well, that was
All
about
right,
that.
then.
It was about that.
I also want to give a shout out to Seth behind the screen.
Yeah, just close it out, baby.
Because he is the one behind the screen every single time. So if you guys are familiar with Seth, make sure to give him some love, even though he's not with us every single week. You can find him on Twitter at Seth Mitchell, also on Twitch at the same handle. We love you, Seth, also known as LK Hot Boy as of now.
Yes.
Okay, hot boy, let's
The
go.
hottest boy in low kick, man.
3.
But I also want to say thanks to Jax for coming on with us this week. We appreciate your insights and giving the viewers the insight to how LK runs. And for everyone else watching, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you sign up early for LKO, and we'll catch you next Friday and Saturday for LKO Online and the next episode of EX Saturdays. See you guys later.
Peace and love.